CEC Gurukul lecture in continuation with the series on sociology of work. In today's lecture, we are going to talk something very significant and something which is part of our society. That is information society. So we know that we are all kind of engaged in some form of online education, e-shopping, mobile phones, communications, and we do live in an information society, right? Even today, from the past almost about to be 2 years, children have been introduced to schools through online medium, and this is because of information technology, which started kind of coming into since the time of industrialization, the industrial revolution, and slowly and gradually we have moved towards what is now called as information society. So understand, is this society what was in terms of requirement of human being? How has this affected the work relation? Has it kind of taken us away from our own cultural, social realm and made us a slave of information? So with this, we need to understand the growth and evolution of evolution society and also understand the characteristics. And in the later half, we will look into the critique, because after post-industrial society, which I discussed in the previous lecture, the entire discussions and debates was around a society that was regulated by information, and therefore many of them kind of considered the concept as progressive, as leading society to an egalitarian progressive society. But after a decade or so, the negative side started kind of being observed. So we need to understand both how it kind of transformed society, how it brought about a change in the workplace relation. Did it kind of create a new working conditions for workers, or did it kind of take them away from their innovation, from their skills? So to begin with, let us try to understand how this concept becomes significant in the academic discourse in social sciences as well as in the society. So the end of 20th society, we know there was a large scale transformation which was going on, and not only in India but across the globe. There was kind of upheaval, and one of the reason why this transformation was being kind of questioned or became a concern was the rapid development and diffusion of information technology. Diffusion in the sense it was spreading very fast, not only from the spheres of production but also into different realm. And we ourselves over the years have witnessed how technology has kind of entered and into every aspect of our life. So they are kind of a young generation who cannot survive without the mobile, cannot think about living a life without, they are so dependent on it. So it kind of diffused and spread to all part of the world, and therefore we kind of see this was a kind in academic, in social sciences, like going back to the post-industrial society, the concept given by Daniel Bell, who tried to kind of come at an evolutionary perspective, that is from pre-industrial to industrial to post-industrial society. Now this post-industrial society once was the concern, what next? And Moro says, it was saying that advanced industrial, post-industrial society would be termed as information society. So what is basically the key to social change was information, and we know that everything kind of the connections that sitting at a house in India, we can attend classes online from America and any other part of the globe. We know we can communicate through people, we can have a kind of a virtual contact through people. So not only in society, it is also business which has been affected by information, and one of the kind of push to the growth of information was obviously the business sector, for whom information became a boom. It became a kind of an asset to increase their business assets, and that is how transnational corporations were set up, having headquarters in any part of the globe and having business centers in every part. And that kind of, we know that 21st century is a society of e-commerce, e-business, and there is global business which is kind of going. So it is not limited by space and it is neither limited by time. So we kind of live in what it is kind of considered that we not only kind of read about information, we not only kind of increase our knowledge about information through internet, computers and everything, but a lot of our home gadgets are all kind of the results of information technology. So information is available anywhere, anytime, and almost across the globe. That is why the theorists in social sciences would say that information is the key to social change. Now, when we look into information as bringing about large-scale transformation, beginning of the say end of 20th century, and then kind of taking a very fast rate, we see that information is regarded at a political level by nation state as kind of integral, inevitable for the progress, for economic progress, for social, cultural and political life. So both developed and developing countries are kind of concerned with improving their technology that they have, and the kind of technology, and that is specifically the IT, information technology, helps them to kind of have a upper hand in competition, international competition, and it kind of then becomes one of the key determinant of the position in the hierarchy. So to be on the top, it becomes in necessity for all countries across the globe to ensure that they have the best of technology with them, and therefore we can say this concept becomes very important and kind of becomes very relevant to give a description of society, say where advanced industrialism had taken place and society was kind of moving forward. So in post-industrial society, we had kind of understood that it was a move from say agriculture to manufacturing to the service sector. Now when we talk about the service sector, now within the service sector, the movement is towards IT oriented service sector, and it's the other way around also. Almost all service sector depends on IT. So that is how we can be seen in terms of an evolutionary change which is taking place. Now all this while we are talking about information and information technology. So before we understand what we mean by information society, it's very important to have a clarity of what information means. And according to Krishna Kumar, whose work is from post-industrial to post-modern society, he kind of defines this information and says that it is a requirement for survival, and it also enables us to exchange say goods and services between human and also the environment. So we kind of have also taken control over the environment because of the access to technology. And there is a term in social sciences and it is referred as cybernetic. Now cybernetic was a term given by Wiener, and it kind of it tells upon the netics means network, and cyber is kind of related to computers. So it is kind of says that we have a dialectical relation between human beings and information. There is a constant dependence on information, as well as human beings are kind of investing a lot in terms of improving that technology. So every now and we know that there is a latest version of the mobile phone, or the latest version of the television, or any of the gadgets that, so people are constantly trying to improve on them so that the ease at work is achieved. So there is a kind of a constant dialectical relation between the two. Now when we look into how or why information becomes central or critical in society, we need to look into the political economy of the societies, and this is large of the theorization is coming from the Western society, where after the post-war period and even during the war period, it was very important for them to develop this information technology, because this access of information was critical for kind of ending in as achieving or winning the war. So much of the development or why information became critical was because information was not concept. It was not just kind of something which need to be understood. It was something that had to be empirically used, and therefore it became an ideology which was linked to development. So those industrialized society, a society which had kind of achieved early industrialization, then embarked on this idea of using information technology for further progress, for further development. And one of the area where information was drastically used was the military expansion. So three areas which we specifically look into is, one was the military expansion, high use of information technology for military purpose, for wars. Then second was for the multinational corporation and transnational corporation, which becomes a kind of critical for the development of information capitalism. And third we see is in terms of the whole idea of nation states or government states themselves kind of promoting the use of information technology. And why were the states being so kind of keen in putting forward the role of information society was again the whole linkage between information technology and the ideology of development. So to be kind of labeled as a developed country or to be labeled as a progressive country, the marker was information technology, the level of information technology that a country could have used. And therefore a large amount of emphasis by the state governments was central governments, that is the nation state, was to ensure that information technology was not only built, but it was also spread out to everybody. And therefore when we try to understand the ideology of information society, we see there is a nexus. There is a nexus between three main domain, that is the military, industrial and scientific. Now this entire post-war period was also a period of modernity, where the stress was on scientific thinking, on rationality, and then there was this entire science and rationality was for the purpose to enhance the military. And then we also had the industrial sector being developed in order to ensure that there was societies were able to progress. So in the 80s we kind of see a complex relation between military, industrial and scientific areas. Now when we look into the whole idea of information society, we can also kind of put into it in terms of again evolutionary pattern of seeing how the changes were being affected in the society. And this is very specifically to the world of work, because we are trying to understand sociology of work and how working conditions and workers were affected by information technology. So the first revolution, that is the kind of industrial revolution, which started off where there was a shift from pre-industrial to industrial society, we see it was a kind of more emphasis on machine. So from say using handmade product, people started using machines, like for instance weaving, to power looms. The second revolution comes in when the people start using a lot of computers, lot of so do more of intricate mental work. And the third is when these it's more of in terms of intelligence. So artificial intelligence becomes work. It's not only mental work, it's also brain work. So these earlier there was huge size of computers that were developed, and then we went on reducing, and we have kind of very small size, and the devices, if we see, were earlier larger, and slowly the sizes are kind of reducing. So we kind of see this, that the first two, where it was kind of more of machine work and mental work, it was more in terms of energy revolution, because it was machine, steam engine and electricity, whereas the last revolution is more in terms of information revolution, because brain work depends on how much of data the brain has, and the data can also depend on how much of access to information individuals have. So that is how we kind of understand the information society. Now again we try to look into this transition. When we look into the three revolutions, we try to look into the transition, whether this transition from a post-industrial society to information society has taken place, and how has it taken place is kind of the massive growth or the massive area in which growth has taken place is information technology, and this is kind of seen in all sectors. Daniel Bell gave us an evolutionary theory and said there was a kind of growth of the service sector, but when we come to information technology, we see each of these three sectors, whether it be the agricultural, industrial or service sector, information technology was becoming very significant. So the framework of information society, that is the base or the foundation of the information society, was from the post-industrial society, or maybe we can kind of trace it a little back and say as industrialization started place and the space of industrialization increased, it was there where the genesis of information society could be located. And if we were to understand information society with reference to an ideology, we know that it is kind of a lot of value added with it. And the idea is, and those thinkers or the social scientists who have given us this theory of information society also categorically look into the information society as something which would lead to a better society. It would solve all the problems of pre-industrial society. It would kind of solve inequality, and there would be a lot of resource, so there would be a creation of wealth, inequality would be disappeared, and therefore it was a kind of a very positive interpretation of the development or transformation which was taking place. And there was, again we said that if we look into that evolutionary transformation, then from say manufacturing to in service sector, the largest chunk of the workers who were to be found in the information services, and that is kind of creating an information sphere within the threefold division of society. Now, when we look into kind of information society, it kind of looks into very vague in terms of how do we actually arrive at a definition of it. Can we then rely on the same kind of definition that we used for post-industrial society, or do we kind of are able to kind of identify the exact nature of this society? And one thing which is very clear is that obviously information society is completely different from the industrial society. Many scholars and scientists have done a kind of clear-cut comparison between industrial society and the information society in terms of the nature of economy, political structure, exchange, communication. So they are completely in contrast to each other. Now, more specifically, if we were to define information society, we would kind of understand that it is a society where information is a commodity. You know, information is a commodity, especially something which is available for purchase and sale in the market, and those who kind of have access to that, who are able to kind of be part of that exchange, are the ones who can be considered as knowledge workers. So the large number or a larger chunk of employment have been in the information sphere. So information and communication kind of prolific and widely used every sphere, whether we talk about education, entertainment, any sphere of life. You know, the technology has kind of we have this concept of home centered. Technology has entered into the private sphere as well. All the gadgets within our house, in different, even from the kitchen, has kind of revolutionized with the idea of information technology, and the way in which the technology are used are kind of giving a sense of interconnection. So you know, if we can give a very simple example, and say 10 years, 20 years back, if there was someone in a different part of the globe, then connecting was obviously very difficult. Doing a trunk call or an international call was a kind of hassle. But now, because of the information technology, one can do a video call and kind of connect to people in different parts. So it is an asset indeed, where the connection has happened through information. Now, the lot of social scientists, here we are only referring to the work of Krishna Kumar, who is saying that when we are to arrive at a definition, unlike the industrial society, which was very clear that there was use of industry, steam, fossil fuels, these were the distinguished mark. But now, because there is so much of a larger period, as well as there is so much of blurring of ideas, we need to kind of have a certain analytical criteria for arriving at the understanding of information society. And here we will refer to 6 criteria, which when we discuss in detail, we will understand the nature of information society. So, the first is obviously technological, and the common definition is to kind of highlight the ICT, that is information and communication technology, and this kind of signaled at the emergence of a different society, different from the past, and was termed as information society. Over the years, there has been breakthrough in terms of storage, transmission, and has led to application in virtually all corners of the society. The second criteria is economy, and we need to keep in mind that it is the economy, political economy of information society is very important. So, there is a kind of subdivision of economy that concerns itself with the economics of information. Now, information society is one in which the contribution of information business and trade, that is specifically the service sector, for instance, publishing, entertainment, consultancy, has expanded over the period of time. So, again, where we look into the contribution in terms of the 3 divisions that we go by in terms of agricultural, manufacturing, and service sector. So, we kind of see that it is the largest contributor to the GNP or GDP comes from the service sector, because this is one sector which has kind of expanded to the larger extent compared to the other 2. Now, when we look into occupational criteria, we see that in the information society, the predominance is of the service sector, specifically information worker, those who are kind of certain professionals using some kind of information as their means of working. So, we have teachers, lawyers, entertainers, like kind of these are the category who are more compared to the manual machine workers. So, there is a tendency to move towards professional work than the kind of work in as a physical worker in the manufacturing unit. Now, when we look into the shift, and this is the kind of most central argument given by the thinkers of information society, is that the information society is a increase or expansion of the white collar. Now, in the lecture on post-industrial society, we did a distinction between white collar and the blue collar. The blue collar was a term used for those who were working with the machines because they were wearing the blue color dress, and white collar was used for people working in the office who were not kind of engaged in any kind of mechanical or machine work. Now, because the information technology is working through computers and internet, it was kind of considered that this information workers are largely in the expansion of white collar workers, and this argument has been specifically given by Daniel Bell. The 4th criteria is spatial, that is we've already said that information society is kind of beyond space. So, there is a kind of a network which has been built, and here we know the reference is kind of it has a factories, offices are located across globes and people are connected. Now, if sitting in India, we are connected to universities in the abroad, and we can sit here, do our courses and get our degrees abroad. So, that is the spatial connection through information. Manuel Castells concept of network society becomes very important to understand space. That is, he says that there is a kind of a network, and how are we created into a network? It is through the information technology that we are connected. Another important criteria is the cultural. So this is not only in the realm of economy and in the realm of work, but we are also kind of into cultural sharing of information. So we know a lot of our social life across media, social media, and it kind of help us to know about other parts of the world, the cultural life of the world. So we have the television, advertising, lifestyle, multiple ethnicity, hybridized musical expression. So that we are living in a world wide web, and we are connected through technology. The most important highlight of information society is theory, that is the growth of theoretical knowledge, because remember, this is a time of brain work. So intelligence and knowledge is very important. So it is more in terms of learning, kind of skilled. So there is a lot of emphasis on professional skills and knowledge, how to kind of have control over it. And so it's kind of said that earlier it was the weapon was the gun, now the weapon is data, that is information. And that, for those who have this, are the knowledge workers. So knowledge working information societies progressively, and it affects workers in two ways. They connect, upgrades the knowledge. So we are continuously upgrading. If we see where in computer, we know the language kind of gets we had C++ and then Linux, and then it's going on. It's kind of growing and developing every. There's a constant increase, and this creation and expansion of new work is actually knowledge worker. So large number of people are in the knowledge sector, and it kind of constitutes the core. When we look into this whole emergence of the information society, we know it is kind of related to two concepts. One is the long-term economic development, and the other is the information technology, the technological change, which I already started off by saying that information technology has a large-scale transformation effect. And it is, why is technology becoming so important? Because it is an enabling technology. It is improving, it is changing, and the capacity is very large. It can kind of bring about a change over a long period of time, and the cost of technology is changing. So when we look into all of this and try to understand the concept of information society, we can kind of make sense of the changes that are happening around us, and try to understand that how and why technology and information is so central in our life. With this, I come to an end of this lecture. Thank you.